Hello, I'm Jonathan. Welcome to Foundry Networks, the only gigabit Ethernet company with a product breadth to meet all your needs, from the edge to the core of your network. That's right, whether it's workgroup switches, wiring closet switches, server load balancing and transparent caching switches, or campus and LAN-WAN backbone switching routers, Foundry's scalable product line has you covered, from layer 2 through layer 7. And only Foundry delivers ironclad network performance to give your company a big competitive advantage. Not surprisingly, Foundry's superior network performance and reliability haven't gone unnoticed. To date, we've received multiple major product and corporate awards, including Network World's Top 10 Companies to Watch in 1999. So it's easy to understand why so many customers worldwide now rely on Foundry's ironclad network performance, including demanding ISPs like AOL, Mindspring, and Yahoo, as well as organizations as varied as HBO, LTV Steel, and the National Institutes of Health. Even the mega-popular Star Wars website is front-ended by Foundry server irons, but we'll get to that later. Of course, to find out how good a company's products really are, you have to ask the people who use them. So that's why we're going to talk to the representatives from 4 of Foundry's growing list of satisfied customers. You'll see that although these customers chose Foundry's gigabit Ethernet solutions for different reasons, they've all reaped the rewards of Foundry's ironclad network performance. But don't take my word for it, take theirs.
Ironclad network performance to me connotes strength and reliability, and 2 features which, if we can keep them in our network, will really help our job security.
Ironclad network performance to me means I can go home at 5 o'clock and not have to worry about my network.
Intrigued? Well, let me introduce them so they can tell you about some other benefits of choosing Foundry Networks. We'll start with Mark Felton and Joey Rosenblum, 2 system administrators with Zoom.com, a leading direct e-commerce company and the 11th largest website on the internet. I bet your servers and routers take a beating.
We have terabytes of data that we shovel around our network on a daily basis.
To handle that traffic, I understand you've installed 3 redundant pairs of Foundry server irons as well as a pair of big irons. So let's start with the server irons. How are you using them?
Well, we're using the server irons for load balancing on port 80, so we load balance our Apache server farm, and we're also using it for load balancing on port 25 for both our bounce and our unsubscribed machines.
Makes sense. The server iron is the ideal solution to distribute layer 4 traffic among multiple servers for improved server performance and greater redundancy. So Mark, is that why Zoom.com chose Foundry server irons?
We chose Foundry's server load balancers over Altion or R&D networks or big IPs or Cisco local directors for 2 reasons. One, they got the job done. There's a nice command line interface. They're very configurable, and they do exactly what we need done. And the second reason is that the price is by far the most competitive we were able to evaluate, and seemed to be the only fair price in the industry.
Sounds as if the decision was easy.
Choosing Foundry, both for price and performance, was a no-brainer.
And Joey, what about Foundry's chassis-based switching router, the Big Iron 8000? What sold you on it?
We chose to buy a Foundry Big Iron 8000 over the Cisco 6500 series switch, mostly because Foundry had a 4th generation gigabit switching product with the full complement of features that we needed to upgrade our network to gigabit, and Cisco seemed to be still experimenting and fuddling around with it, and the 6500 isn't really a complete product, at least not as of today. You can't buy full management modules that take advantage of all of its capabilities, whereas the Foundry, shipping a product, ready to go, been tested, I got to see it running in a network. Cisco couldn't show me a network where they had a 6500 installed that was doing anything like what we will be doing with the Big Iron 8000.
Cisco's argument was mainly the fear, uncertainty, and doubt argument, where, with Cisco's product, you get Cisco iOS, which everyone is familiar with, and you get Cisco support, which everyone knows and loves. But we've had such great experience with both Foundry's code and Foundry's support that the argument didn't hold weight with us, and really Cisco's FUD argument wasn't worth the $40,000 difference in the product costs.
Obviously, there were lots of reasons why Zoom.com chose Foundry. Now let's hear from Walter Gerber, a project director with TNCI, one of Foundry's systems integrators. TNCI provides interactive television and information systems to clients in the travel industry, including Carnival Cruise Lines, the most popular cruise line in the world. Carnival wanted to offer passengers on their Sensation Superliner ship new entertainment services that would allow them to watch movies and music videos, gamble, and view and book shore excursions from the comfort of their cabins. And that's why you turned to Foundry, right?
TNCI and Foundry worked from the ground up to develop a network with sufficient bandwidth to provide for IP multicasting and video streaming to the cabin, using the television as an interface to the passenger.
Quite a challenge. Any others you had to address?
Size, price, and power consumption were a significant consideration.
No doubt. So tell us, what Foundry products did you select to make Carnival's plan a reality?
We have a Foundry Big Iron 4000 co-located with our Cheetah server in the broadcast center, and there are 17 Fast Iron 2 switches strategically located throughout the ship. We can give the passengers 1,000 simultaneous interactive sessions. We can provide 400 video streams, which means 400 separate movies or 400 cabins watching the same movie with pause, fast forward, and rewind capability.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, now I want to introduce yet another satisfied Foundry customer, Doug Fairfull, IS manager with Michigan State University's Kalamazoo Center for Medical Studies, a health center that trains medical students and resident physicians. Just as with Carnival, KCMS was in desperate need of bandwidth, right, Doug?
We had oversaturated our Ethernet network to the point where response time was unacceptably slow.
So you built your network backbone around the Big Iron 4000.
We also have a Fast Iron 2.
Yeah, that's Foundry's family of Ethernet, Fast Ethernet, and Gigabit Ethernet Edge solutions and new standard-based 1000-base T-switches.
And then throughout our 8 closets, we have 17 Fast Iron workgroup switches. And we had looked at Cisco and 3Com and Bay solutions. We like the Foundry best, however, because of performance and the cost benefit. We were able to go 100 megabit to the desktop and gigabit Ethernet to our network core for less money with the Foundry equipment.
It's hard to argue with results like that.
And it also supported all the protocols that we needed to use.
As well as many you don't. So, what do you like best about the Foundry gear?
The VLAN and protocol LAN capability that's built into it, as well as the router switching function. So that gives me the flexibility to configure a port depending on what I'm connecting to it for either routing or switching. So it's been very important for us to have multiple virtual networks inside our network so that we don't have as many collision domains.
Understandable. And that brings us to Peter Reshak, Network Services Manager for Lucasfilm Limited, the world's largest independent film production company based in Marin, California. They handle all aspects of film production, from pre, post, sound, and digital effects, as well as one of today's hottest websites. Peter, why did you guys choose Foundry's server iron to front-end your Star Wars website?
We were expecting an enormous number of hits to the StarWars.com website, so when we went out and evaluated load balancers, we knew that stability, reliability, and performance were the top factors. Foundry met all of them.
That's what we like to hear. It's no surprise to anyone that you're getting a lot of traffic on that site. So, now that it's installed, what do you like best about it?
The features that we like on the Foundry gear that we're currently using are multi-protocol based VLANs, quality of service, and trunking.
Features that provide all the performance you need. Just out of curiosity, Peter, what protocols are you running at Lucasfilm?
Currently, the protocols that we are running on the network are AppleTalk for all of the sound and animation design, as well as the nonlinear digital editing systems. We run IP for all servers and all other functions.
You guys crank out some great stuff. So tell us, what ultimately sold you on Foundry?
We chose Foundry Networks over the competition because everyone promised us wire speed performance, but Foundry was the only company that delivered.
Remember that. Foundry Networks not only promises, but delivers ironclad network performance. And now, I want to focus your attention on a new improvement to the server iron platform that's getting a lot of attention. Internet Ironware, a free, feature-rich software upgrade. Mark, which of its capabilities are you most excited about?
The symmetric load balancing, which will allow us to take our redundant pairs of server irons and make them an active-active solution.
So instead of having one server do all the work while the other functions strictly as a backup machine, both can now work to actively push the traffic. That really boosts your server utilization.
It's going to allow us to have less dead weight on our racks.
Another new offering that will soon be available from Foundry is Big Server Iron. This high-performance, high-density solution will provide users integrated layer 2 through 7 switching in a single chassis. Anything you want to add, Joey?
We're excited about one of the new features coming down the pipe for the Big Iron, which will allow us to do layer 4 switching right on the box.
Very cool. There's also a new packet over SONET module in the Big Iron's chassis that lets you connect to the WAN, as well as the Management 2 module for increased capacity, performance, and redundancy. Okay, we've heard about why you chose your Foundry solutions and what you like best about them. Let's finish up with some quantitative results. Peter, how has the Foundry gear impacted the ability of the Star Wars website to handle all those hits?
After we installed the Foundry server irons at our www.starwars.com website, we noticed an immediate improvement in responsiveness, as well as being able to handle more hits per server.
That's delivering on our promises. Doug, what have you found since implementing Foundry's switches and routers?
The biggest benefit from putting in the Foundry gear, I'd have to say, is from the user's perspective, the improvement in performance we've seen. It's been very dramatic, and the delays in response time have all but disappeared for our primary applications.
Terrific. Anyone else?
We've seen a noticeable increase in our level of stability. We put the server irons on in an environment of maxing out our previous software-based load balancing solution, and the moment we put these server irons up, we had more uptime, less problems with our girlfriends, got a better night's sleep. In the 5 months that they've been up, we haven't had a moment of Foundry-related downtime.
It doesn't get much better than that. So, gentlemen, it's time to sum it all up. Why would you recommend choosing Foundry Network Solutions? Walter?
Because of size, gigabit Ethernet capacity with the ability to handle IP, multicasting, and switched video streaming.
Doug?
Because of the cost benefit of Foundry gear, because of the command line interface, which is quite adaptable, and because of the web interface makes it easy to manage from my desktop.
And Peter?
I would recommend Foundry to any other production studio because of the performance that we have seen in moving large amounts of data between multiple departments and collaborating on a project this large.
And Joey and Mark?
Any product that can withstand the pounding we give it is a product I would recommend to a colleague.
It can turn an IT zero into a hero.
That pretty much says it all.